Okay, look, we need to have a really serious talk right now. Consider me your slightly sarcastic, maybe entirely too honest older sibling, stepping in for a much-needed reality check. You clicked on this explainer because you want to improve, right? You want to build the ultimate, elite version of yourself. But here's the thing. Right now, you might literally be trying to build a massive skyscraper on a foundation of soggy cardboard. To build something new and lasting, we have to completely tear down the old junk first. So let's dive right in, because what we're about to cover is a complete, scorched earth teardown of every single excuse you've ever told yourself about success.
So, here's a question that completely shatters the biggest excuse in the book. Seriously, think about this. Why do the gifted fail while the average succeed? We absolutely love to use a lack of natural talent as our ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card, don't we? Oh, I'm just not a math person, or I'm just naturally disorganized. But nobody talks about the hard truth that talent is incredibly overrated. I mean, you will constantly see highly intelligent, gifted people, the ones who can basically solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded, get utterly outperformed by someone completely average who just simply wakes up early and gets to work.
See, the trap of talent is that it's notoriously picky. It only decides to show up when the weather's a breezy 72 degrees, the artisanal coffee is brewed absolutely perfectly, and the vibes are just right. Talent literally waits for the perfect mood. But the power of discipline? Man, discipline shows up when it's raining and miserable out. Discipline is waking up exhausted, staring blankly at the ceiling and lifting the weight or doing the work anyway. It is consistently choosing progress over the soft, warm comfort of your bed.
Because the truth of the matter is, consistency matters more than your very intelligence for long-term success. The studies back this up completely. Steadfastness, sticking to the plan when nobody is watching and absolutely no one is clapping for you, beats raw brain power every single time. True progress isn't about one giant dramatic cinematic leap of genius. It's about the humble, quiet choice to be uncomfortable over and over again until winning just becomes second nature.
Which brings us right into Section 1, the comfort cell, building your own cage. If you aren't where you want to be right now in life, we have to look closely at the architecture of the prison you're currently sitting in. And, spoiler alert, you're the architect.
Here is a really hard truth to swallow. You are not a victim. You are the jailer. Human beings are absolutely brilliant at building these cozy, comfortable cages made entirely of excuses. We step inside, we lock the door, and then we literally toss the key right out the window. We complain constantly about our external circumstances, but in reality, our minds have just shut off to cope with the challenges of the world. We honestly prefer the safety of our excuses over the terrifying freedom of actually trying.
We routinely fill our minds with complete illusions. We're constantly comparing our messy, behind-the-scenes reality to highly edited highlight reels on social media. We obsess over past mistakes, and we absorb just endless garbage from the internet. But the reality we ignore? None of this serves you. Worrying about the digital status of some random stranger isn't taking action. It's just frantic mental noise that keeps you completely paralyzed on the couch in the present moment.
So I have to ask you directly, if your life is a movie and the credits start rolling at the very end, do you want your name listed as the hero and the star? Or are you perfectly fine being credited as taxi driver number 2? Just a completely forgettable background extra eating a sandwich in your own life story? Playing the victim role absolutely guarantees you that background spot. If you want the lead, you have to take control of the script today.
And if you want that starring role, you have to hit the reset button. Welcome to Section 2, the power of isolation and reset. Getting away from the constant noise is where your real transformation actually begins.
There's a brilliant quote, "Isolation is the key to straightening your mind." When you finally step away from the crowd, from the endless comparisons, and from those junk media algorithms that are specifically designed to steal your attention, your entire focus shifts. Isolation allows you to actually go to war with your own bad habits without a live audience. And ironically enough, it's inside that lonely boxing ring of your own mind that you finally find true peace, because you strip away everything that isn't essential.
And this is the exact 3-step process you undergo in that quiet space. Step 1. Unlearn the old habits. You literally have to break the chains of your former self. Step 2. Face the discomfort. Let's be brutally honest here, this is gonna hurt. Growth is inherently painful. But the exact moment you feel like giving up is precisely where the real growth actually starts. And finally, step 3. Relearn the new self. This is where you recondition your brain to an entirely new reality.
Which leads us exactly to how we relearn that new self. Let's step into Section 3. The secret of consistency, the 1% rule. We so often trick ourselves into thinking that change requires massive, dramatic, movie montage levels of action. It really doesn't.
All it requires is just this, 1%. Getting just 1% better every single day. Look, success isn't some magical destination you suddenly get airdropped into. It's determined by your daily, sometimes incredibly boring agenda. It's the small, repetitive habits, the unwavering commitment to being slightly better today than you were yesterday. That slow, totally unglamorous grind, that is exactly how champions are actually forged.
Let's be real for a second about stacking wins versus stacking losses, because we subconsciously program ourselves to be imposters. We all do this. You set a highly ambitious alarm clock for 5 a.m. At midnight, when you set it, you feel like an absolute warrior, ready to conquer the universe. But what happens at 5 a.m.? The alarm goes off, the room is freezing cold, and you immediately smack the snooze button and hide under the covers. Congratulations, you just stacked a massive L to start your entire day.
And the damage from those losses compounds so rapidly. Hitting that snooze button, skipping the workout you swore you'd do, ignoring the book gathering dust on your nightstand, these seem tiny, right? But every single broken promise to yourself is a crack in your foundation. You harden your subconscious into knowing that you are not a promise keeper. Your reputation with yourself is your confidence. If you don't even trust yourself to wake up, how on earth will you trust yourself to achieve greatness?
Now, you will stumble. You are definitely going to stack an L occasionally. And that brings us to Section 4, Accepting Failure and Loving Fate. We really need to have a firm but comforting discussion about the things we can control and the things we absolutely cannot.
Think about it like this. The vast majority of our focus, like 60%, should be placed purely on our daily actions, and 30% on how we react to the challenges thrown at us. But there is a 10% slice that is purely divine decree, your fate, your qadar. You didn't control who your parents are, what city you were born in, or the genetics you were handed. You have to trust the plan, accept it for what it is without whining or bitterness, and focus all your energy on tying your camel. Control the 90% you actually have power over. The absolutely crucial point to remember here is to accept failure, but never, ever accept defeat. You have to strictly disassociate your identity from the event itself. Failing does not mean you are a failure. Failing is just raw data. It's a necessary lesson, an inevitable bump on the path to greatness. Defeat, however, is a choice. Defeat only happens the precise moment you choose to stay down and let your mind convince you the journey's over.
I really love this quote. You have to learn to let it burn. When you realize you aren't as far along in your journey as you want to be, it burns. Your ego is screaming. Your immediate impulse is to turn away, to blame your upbringing, or to blame society. Don't do it. Sit right in the middle of that burning discomfort, because that fire is exactly where you forge the strength to change your entire trajectory.
Which brings us to our final piece, Section 5, the ultimate question. Who will you be? Honestly, this is the most critical part of this entire explainer.
You have to stop judging yourself by yesterday's mistakes and start thinking in increments. Dedicate just one single day to pushing through your immediate self-doubt. Just one. Do that for a year, upgrading your knowledge and habits daily, and you will arrive at a totally new, unrecognizable destination. Maintain that for 10 years, and you will literally blow your own mind by becoming the ultimate, fully realized version of yourself.
But the hardest part is always taking that very first step, isn't it? So here is a highly practical tool to force it, the 5-4-3-2-1 action plan. When you feel that wave of hesitation hitting you, acknowledge it, count backward out loud, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically launch yourself out of the self-doubt. Take massive action before your brilliant brain even has the time to invent an excuse. You might have to do this 50 times a day in the beginning, but trust me, it works.
I want you to imagine reaching the absolute end of your life. You get to the finish line and you are handed a chart that tells you exactly who you could have been. The incredible, impactful hero you were supposed to be if you had just pushed through the fear. Would you be proud of the gap between who you are and who you were supposed to be? Or would you realize with a heavy heart that you traded your greatness for temporary comfort?
Because the truth is, the pursuit itself is the gift. The journey and your sincere dedication are the actual reward. Striving to be better than you were yesterday, doing your absolute best with what you have, that relentless pursuit of excellence of Ihsan is the real prize.
The resilient, capable version of yourself that you are becoming through the struggle is the greatest gift you can possibly give to the world.
You don't have to wait until you are 80 years old to feel a crushing sense of regret. You can change your trajectory right now. Even if it feels completely impossible from where you are sitting today, you can make a plan this very second. Destroy the excuses, unlearn those toxic old habits, and start building the foundation for the new you. So what is the very first step you are going to take today?